Okay, so we're going to create a mitered corner for a hem. Now this is a bit different because it's got the angle, but on my skirt I've got a vent or split here. So this is my sewing line that I've created of my vent or split, and this is my hem. I've got 4.5 centimetre seam allowance, so it's important to have those the same to have a nice mitre corner. So whatever your seam allowance or your vent and your hem are, you want them the same, a nice deep one. This is your sewing line here, so that's what we refer to as net. All right, so fold along the hem seam allowance, create a crease, and fold along the vent seam allowance. Now this has got a slight angle, but it still works just as well as if it was a right angle. And what the reference points are is with this corner of the edge of the garment, because that will be the finish of the skirt, trouser, wherever you got your vent. And then we're looking at where the two join. So it doesn't matter if you fold it that way or the other way, they still meet at that corner point there. So we want to draw a line from where they meet when they lie flat, and draw, this is going to be the net sewing line. So you can fold it that way, and then you can fold it the other way to get your lines, or you could use a tracing wheel. Alright, so or you could just use a tracing wheel to mark it through. So then when you open it up, you've got your line here. That's the one that's gone through. On the tracing wheel you can see the little spots, and it goes to this point, and it's these marks here. That's also no seam allowance net, so don't remember that. Don't get carried away and cut along that line, because if you do that then you'll end up with a beautiful mitre corner with two raw edges and you won't be able to sew them together. So we need to remember that that is your sewing line, so therefore we need to add seam allowance, and we're using 1.5, but whatever you prefer. And we're adding it past, we're not taking it off, otherwise you'll have a gap. So we're going to add the seam allowance on. Now this one's slightly different because of the angle than the previous one I've done. And we remove this section of fabric, so we'll just trim that away. You can put a notch at an angle here and an angle here, which helps you line up. So when you put right sides together on your garment, you'll be able to line them up and then sew along this line. So if those were sewn together, it's a bit more tricky with paper, those would be sewn together, and then when they've turned back the right way round, they would then be joined together and create a nice neat mitered corner.